Absolutely, we don't get to see theme park all that often, so I'm really excited to see what G2 have got planned. The reason why most teams historically wouldn't go to this map is that if you pick the map, very good chance the other team is going to start on defense, if not absolutely guaranteed. So you just know you are in for a torturous first 6 rounds that most teams struggle to even get one attack on. So G2, they'll have some Monty, they'll have some Ying, they're going to have some spicy stuff, but that's what you want to see coming into this. Our first 3 bands coming through, Thatcher, Hibana and Wamai, all taken away.
Yep, nothing too surprising for us, nothing too far out there. Mirror is going to round things up. The Wamai band's been one that we've seen a lot more of. Obviously, it's going to play into the fact that we're now likely to see a lot of Jaeger throughout this map because they need to deal with those projectiles. Especially, I'm thinking about sites like Armory downstairs. You're going to try and put some denial on those walls, but you've got 6 panels to keep closed. They're going to try and get nades in there. So you got to have your Jaegers, you got to have your ADSs in there, and it's going to be Nesk. And Nesk on Jaeger with the carbine is a little bit terrifying.
Well, you might also see some Maruni being brought along. She's got a gadget, Tim. I forgot what the name of that gadget is that also helps with nades.
I think it's a Surya gate does.
No. There's a different name for it that we all use quite commonly. What is it again?
It's a laser gate.
Thank you very much, Tim. That's what I was looking for. Not present in this round, but the Jaeger is there for our first defense of Armory and Throne Room. Liquid. On this site, you can be really risky and try and, hunker yourself down basically in sight. It's not the way to play it. I imagine you'll see them wanting to get out in the map, get disrupted, because again, with attacker repick coming in, teams can just adapt and bring the perfect execution-based lineup along. You can see Alamao going over to play in that Ying. We've seen him on some spicy stuff in the groups, Tim. A lot of knock the other day coming out on Chalet. It came out with a lot of jokes as well all the way through. But I'm sure with the Ying, we'll see some special stuff coming out, assuming he stays alive to the point of execution.
We're going to head into the action phase of round number 1 then and really kick things off, get them underway. We've still got that setup going on from Team Liquid, and interestingly, they've got a few players up on the top floor. It's one of those, we sometimes see it for Armory Throne, we sometimes don't. It's, like you said yourself, Des, there is the possibility of bunkering down, but we're going to have somebody just drop out of the game there. I think we'll see what's going to happen. The admins will make the call. Floor that can be taken up that will give you a view onto the backs of the reinforced walls, so you can use them to clear that denial utility out. But it's more than anything going to be about wasting time. It's going to be about finding kills on that top floor as well. So Ask being up there, he's been going well so far. That's going to be his job.
Absolutely. We'll see how things play out, though, now that we are back into things. Thank you for sticking with us to that one, ladies and gents. Round 1 back underway once again in just a moment. So the Armory and Throne, we spoke about an awful lot. You spoke about there not being tons of vertical. You have the hatch inside of blue, or split, that word that I forgot long ago, Tim. But also around the yellow wall as well, the soft flooring all around there. You can do some work from above. Defenders then naturally scurry more down towards the south, so teams can put some focus on that yellow wall. But more often than not lately, maintenance has kind of been the big focus. We'll see if that's where G2 want to set things up.
Yeah, that's it. You're not going to get that direct impact onto players necessarily, but it is going to impact where they play and where they feel comfortable. So the setup gets underway once again. Ask is likely going to be putting a mute jammer on each of those walls, and that's going to just try to help the denial. But as we know, the mute jammers, they changed a little while ago, and it's certainly not a guarantee if you're wanting to keep a wall closed. Interestingly, with the thermite being brought along by Prano, that does limit them a little bit. Obviously, Hibana and Ace have got a little bit more flexibility when it comes to opening walls with mute jammers, because they can play it up into the corners specifically, whereas Thermite doesn't necessarily have quite the same option. But you got Virtue on the Maverick, who it's a 2-second job for him to get in there. Little hole down at the bottom of the wall, shoot out the mute jammer, and then Prano is good to go.
Well, Liquid are starting out with 4 players up on the second floor here. Only 1 playing inside of sight. Not suggesting G2 are going to think, oh, that sounds like a great chance to rush, but instead they will likely have to work their way through this top floor and start clearing out these roamers. Resets, holding out here towards Arcade. Looks like Cappy going to be at least some point of pressure for G2. But Tim, I have noticed Doki's out here towards the west by himself. A great C4. Is it going to pull it? No, just misses it out, but thank you very much for giving us a free hatch, G2 will say.
Oh, Ask was so close to a big opener there, and that is, as you say, going to give access into control for the time being, but Ask is sat waiting ready. Joel's wide open to clamp down on anybody who drops through that hatch. Prano's got himself established in barrels, so G2 looking at the minute like they're posturing more towards that side of the map rather than going into maintenance. Of course, there is a little bit of vertical from control that can help you hold on to maintenance. It's going to be Ask up there on the top floor that gets the opener. He's going to take Doki down, and that is our first kill of the quarterfinals here in Charlotte.
A good kill coming back though. Nest going down to Citizen. Two Titans coming head to head, and the Brit comes out on top at least for now. Got control of Arcade and moving his way through. G2, I've got to say, very split at this point though, Tim. You've got a couple out towards the west, a couple towards the east. It's just very separate. You can't really play for trades easily here. And I'm just worried that they'll start running out of time. There's that execution operator I was on about in the Ying, now off the board. Liquid look pretty much in full control.
Beautiful play from Ask and Parlu there. Ask just shooting out the Candela to prevent it being able to function, and then Parlu just moving round to support his teammate Resets. He's on the door here. He knows that Citizen is just outside of there, and there's going to be a little bit of a game of cat and mouse here. Citizen's going in, but I'm not sure he's aware that he's got Resets just hiding around that corner. He knows that there's a man in here somewhere, but he just can't be confident as to exactly where. Now, he's going to try and creep his way through, Des. As you say, he's doing this a little bit without information. Nade going to go in, and G2 just playing a little bit blind at the
minute. Great nade onto Ask as well, catching one at initiation. Still, though, at risk of the man that sat inside a bunk. Resets. He could hit him on the flank here because again, Tim, we haven't seen the drones coming through. They've left this one very empty. Will Citizen find the man, or will he get found first? No way! Hits Resets on the reverse headshot at a 3K, and we said we had to see Citizen go big. This is what you want to see.
G2 turning this round on its head and giving us something to really get on our feet about in round number one. It just sets this up, Des. It's going to be a great game. Parlu, he's got himself inside his sight. He's still taking them drones down. That information still trying to be gathered by G2 with only 10 seconds left to go. They're going to have to pull the trigger, Des. They're going to have to go. Parlu, he's watching both entrances at the minute. Is he going to get gunned down? Yes, he does. It's going to be Virtue. PSK, he manages to find one in a 1v3.
What are you peeking?
Down. Prano has to stick this plant. He's not going to be able to. PSK with a 1v3.
That is honestly entirely in G2's core. The slow clear of the top floor, the lack of drones, it just looks scrappy, and sure, you can try and count on the hero plays coming out of Ben, getting a massive 3K, but you're leaving it all down to the dying few seconds. You're nowhere near sight. It just looked messy for G2, and Tim, I really hope that's not a sign of what's to come on what is one of G2's so-called strongest maps.
I love that it was PSK that got that play there.
Oh, yeah.
The analyst mentioned it on the desk, and, you know, Ask, Resets, Parlu, Nest have had so much attention throughout this tournament and the last few months, and for good reason, absolutely top form. But PSK just flies under the radar so much. He has been doing that for Liquid for so long and so consistently, and he continues doing it here on the bigger stages. What a play from him to get the Brazilians underway. That's going to be 1-0 Liquid, and we head into round number 2. They're going to be moving upstairs, Des. It's going to be Bunk and Daycare.
I really hope in this round we see a little bit more coordination coming out of G2, because I touched on it at the time. All 5 members just split like a star diagram over the top of that map and working their way in. No real playing together, no looking for trades. They were just hoping to get a lot of map control by being so split. Whereas when you're a team, you know, full of really gun-capable individuals, why not just keep on playing for trades off each other? You're guaranteed to get the follow-on and just keep on pushing your way forwards. And Liquid there played it very well, spread out themselves, and kept G2 guessing, stopped them getting free control of map the way they were looking for. For G2, it's got to change in round 2. That cannot continue through this half.
No, I mean, they've changed the operator lineup slightly. We've got Prano bringing along the Book this time. We're not going to have the Hard Breach. We've got Virtue on the Flores, so we're going to have those Rotero drones, the first of which is going to be going in there. And he needs to deal with this cafe entrance, but he can't, because there's a well-placed mute jammer that's going to stop that Rotero going in. But the shield, the double ADS, that is going to make it an absolute nightmare, because what's going to happen is Liquid are just going to completely prevent this northwest-sided push.
I was just about to say, is there a jammer on this drone hole, but they've got 2 players watching from Arcade, so they just can't get their way through. Now you're going to get tested again. Congratulations, you've met the first minigame of the round. Use your wits about, get your wits about you, figure out a way to deal with this G2. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself constantly forced back and almost forced to come over from the cash side instead, which may well be where G2 rotate over to next.
Well, they're not going to have a choice, but the thing is, Liquid, they should be ahead of this. They should know this is likely to
Another
happen.
one gone.
Because they've stacked up to stop the cafe push, they'll then recognise We've stopped the cafe push, so we now need to turn our attention over to the east side, and that's already happening. As you can see, you've got Ask there, he's looking towards. He did a fantastic job in round 1 of wasting time on this side of the map and preventing G2 getting in, and he's getting aggressive, but it's not going to be enough as Alamo manages to get in, get us an opener. He's going to find Palu.
A good start, but it's only one. That clock's still running down, 75 seconds on the clock. And they've been able to deal with that setup around the cafe. So G2 going to have to arguably here push in through a less optimal side by the looks of it. They're trying to work their way through from initiation and push across from there. But are they aware about the player that's hanging around towards the north that could do some damage? Virtue finds himself one. In comes Alamau on that Ying as well, straight in through the smoke, looking for a man, finds him, but can't quite finish the kill. Resets, gets away from his man and gets a kill. PSK down on the other side, 4 versus 2. They're flying through a great trade coming in from Brano. 3 versus 1 and G2 should be able to close this out.
They just need to get this locked down. They've got a good idea of where Ask is. He's low health. They just need to push him together. Smart play though. Alamo is going to start getting that diffuser down. This is going to ramp up the difficulty for Ask here, and it is unlikely. I think that Team Liquid come away with another 1v3, but he's certainly going to be trying. There's a man on his left. I'm not sure he's aware. He knows there's somebody around there, but he has to dip back from that LMG that's going to churn him up as Citizen finds that final kill, and that is going to be G2 leveling things up 1-1.
Much better, yeah. When they pulled the trigger in that case, you saw the team play coming together. The trade coming out of Prano, the push down Arcade from Alamau. They were working together in trying to press on these players that they knew would be moving into specific locations, like Resets, pushing into the north side of Arcade. Much better than what we saw in round 1. Did it rely on a 3K coming out of one player? No, but it was good enough. One apiece we stand then on the attacking side. That first round, just a reminder, was ridiculously close. So it could have been 2-0 to G2 on the attack of Theme Park. That would have been crazy.
It would have been a good start. It would have been a very good start. We're just going to have possibly a quick rehush. You can see it just being called for in the chat there. We'll see. There we go. We'll get every...
Round 3.
Round number 3.
Does the screen say round number 3, or does it say round 3, Tim?
Round number 3.
It says round 3.
Third start is going to be initiation and office, so we're going to go up to the top floor again. Quite often, the likely choice, storage, tends to be the least used, so we'll see this one, and then we'll see Liquid head back down to Armory Throne, more than likely. Probably this time, they're going to bring along the Warden Des, obviously a little bit concerned about the impact that they've been having from the Ying, so that's going to continue to impact on the defensive lineup.
Absolutely, I'd love to see some spicy stuff coming out here. Amaru we've seen teased a few times throughout this event, right? But more used to get quick access to an area of the map without necessarily trying to burst inside of sight. I think back to G2 and their wonderful game on Oregon that saw an incredible zip straight up into Kid's bedroom, a plant going down, and no one could do anything about it. I don't think we'll see the same sort of creativity here, assuming, of course, Alamau sticks on it. But it's enjoyed quite a few different ops this week, Tim. We spoke about the knock play on Chalet. Turns out Amaru not quite with the same ring or rhyme as it does on Theme Park, but we'll take it.
We will indeed keep a close eye on him then and see exactly where that Gara hook gets utilised. Going to have Liquid setting up for, again, they're concerned about both sides, I think, here. They're getting gadgets and utility over on that north to west side. They don't want to give easy access into Cafe, for example, but they might find themselves with a little bit more of an east-sided push coming in from G2 here. Anyway, it's directly accessible to site. You can really start to immediately push forward and start to pressure them. But G2 were very patient last round. That's what I liked about it, Des. They didn't rush it. They didn't get panicked by the fact that they couldn't get themselves inside a Cafe. They were happy to just hold back, rotate, try something else, and I think that's probably going to be the order of the day for them against Team Liquid.
Yeah, it was great composure to know and like rotate off. Some teams will just keep on running their heads against a brick wall and not be able to get through. But they took that opportunity to say, right, guys, we are being held back here. Let's make the change. And this time round, it gets through. They'll be kicking themselves a bit for that one. You know, resets. He should have had that mute jammer down. They may have shot it off the door, in fact, so I won't go too hard on him for that. But it does remove away a very critical location. Shield and 2 ADS is gone.
It just shows good adaptation from G2 as well. They've recognised last time what held us up, what prevented us getting into Cafe and getting set up. Well, it was the mute jammer, so how are we going to deal with that? And it's been done. So now Nesk, he's still going to hold on to that. He's not being forced away just yet. He's going to play in that corridor and try to keep them out of that side of the map for the time being, but it is a lot more perilous for him now. He does have Palu in there for a little bit of support. I'm not sure if G2 are aware of Palu's location. location here. It looks like they're on the rappel ready to go, but Citizen, he's going to get in, get a kill onto Nesk. It will be traded by Ask in a 1-for-1, and Resets manages to find Alamo as well. That is the Amaru taken down, and we're now in a 4v3 at the halfway mark.
Great trade coming in from Liquid. That's the kind of team play I was talking about, being missing from G2 in round 1, but Liquid are showing it in spades in round 3. What started out as a good entry for G2 has turned into losing 2 players. The Amaru gone, the Finka gone, 2 big operators that can have a massive impact off the board.
Prono just trying to sweep across. He needs to be careful because Palu was playing on this side of the map. I think he's actually dipped away now. He's gone more back towards site. We can see all the silhouettes out there ahead of us, and Liquid quite often do this, get themselves a couple of kills in and around the mid-round, and then they're happy to just roll back. It's like, right, plan B, move back, and they know they don't need to be as aggressive. They can play those angles and wait for the pushers to come. G2, they're going to have to find kills here, and Doki gets himself on the little walkway in between, but Ask, he's just sat there waiting. He knows that this is likely to come.
And the thing is, G2 are entirely out of drones. They've been playing blind for the last 30 seconds or so, and sure enough, you're stepping through. Ask did get tagged up, but Doki not able to find the head. A few body shots from Ask, more than enough. I don't think Virtue sees the man sat in there, but the grenade comes in. Knock, knock, in it comes. Prano finding a kill, 3 versus 2. Liquid still with the advantage, and that clock is only working against G2.
Prano pushing forward now onto the double door, wanting to get himself inside a site, and he's going to have to, but Liquid are going to give them absolutely nothing for free here with 15 seconds left to go. Prano needs to be careful as he opens up that wall and starts to take shots back through it. Flash is going to catch him full in the face, but Prano manages to take down Palu despite his ability to see through the utility. But it's PSK once again with a double kill at the end of the round to close it out for Team Liquid, and that is advantage to them. Once again, 2-1 now.
It feels like a lot of the same issues, to be honest, that we saw in round 1, just not enough drone play, or at least when they're using the drones, diving them in front of players, getting them taken out for free, having to push through with no time left on the clock, and praying you can do it all. I'll give massive credit to Liquid, by the way. Did you see them swing once that round? No. They didn't seem to go, oh, I need to go for a fight here, guys, he might be pushing. No, they just sat and held the angles and let G2 come to them. That showed real composure and professionalism in my mind.
They've too much experience to start throwing lives away like that. But for me, G2, they sort of play in 2 games at the minute. The game out in the map, the roam clear, dealing with everything away from site, they're actually playing really well. But when it comes to getting into site, that's when they're starting to have those difficulties. That's when it's becoming troublesome for them. Both rounds that they've lost have been when they've had to take that push into site in the last 15-20 seconds. And that's what G2 need to do better here on the attack, is they need to start working to soften up those defenders, to clear out that utility, and to get themselves, get the defenders moving so that they're not playing in those power positions.
It is hard, and it's always easy to say from the upside perspective of us and what we see, but the large majority of teams put all their focus instead on trying to get through maintenance. So for G2, don't worry about engaging in firefights all around the map. Just go straight to direct to site. Again, play for those trades, play for the gun skill that you have got, and try and look for that to give you an advantage.
Going to see an immediate push up to the building line from G2 here. Not messing about, drones going in, and as I said, it's part of that roam clearance game that they've been doing very, very well so far. And they are certainly building in confidence. You can see as it goes. Now we're going to have immediately the Maverick of Virtue getting right up there onto Cafe Door, looking to get aggressive, but they're going to have to deal with Nesk once again. It was Citizen last time that was able to go in and get this kill onto the double door. Nesk doesn't have the shield, I don't think, this time around, unless it's just positioned to our left inside a Cafe, but no, it is not. Thank you very much to our wonderful observers. So it's going to make Nesk's position a little bit more difficult to hold. He's going to have to stay on this side of the door as he is now, because as soon as he peeks across, that's when he's going into the line of sight, and he doesn't have anything to block that for the time being. Reset is going to take a bold drop there. Will be shut down by Prano, but elsewhere in the map, Palu able to get one onto Doki, and G2 are moving quickly here.
Still getting themselves shot out on their way through. PSK, what a game he's having so far as well. 3-0 since the rehost, and of course had that 1v3 back in round 1. Prano, who found the entry, taken out by Ast. A 4 versus 2 for Liquid, and truthfully, Tim, it does feel when it already comes down to brass tacks, it's Liquid coming out on top. Virtue getting one, Citizen going in for a swing and able to find his man, juicing himself back up, and now looking for the player. The red ping's coming through, so they know where he is. Could try and pinch him in on the window here, unless Ask wants to go hyper-aggressive with a shotgun, goes for the drone hole nade, comes out on the swing. Citizen still trying to hunt him down here against him, wasting so much time.
That's it, it's just a problem now because you can't get in through that window. There's no way that Ask overpeaks this. There's just I say that, and then he strafes across the window. Thank you very much, Art. But he is going to take a little bit of damage, and he's going to find himself dead. He really didn't need to be moving himself around too much there, and he's going to give himself up to Virtue to leave us now in a 2v2. 50 seconds left to go, and G2, they're going to work together here. Going to try and push in through in tandem. They've got Virtue on the Maverick, so still have a little bit of an opportunity to burn out some of those walls, a little bit of hard breaching, but they're going to have to be quick on it.
It's a good nade you can get through here. If only you had Palu holding that angle once again, but he's already long moved off. And I think G2 have basically bailed on the plan of getting the wall opened up here. They've still got some drones to use. Citizen, 2 still on the field. Virtue still 1 out as well. The last stim comes from the finger, giving them as much opportunity as they can to win this gunfight when it comes in. Virtue with the last nade going to come out here onto the same spot once again. A good move from Citizen, looking to play off that. They look behind the throne. Will he find the man? No, the man almost finds him. PSK, the last raid boss once again, sat waiting. They find the 2 kills they need. Liquid with another round.
PSK is proving to just be an absolute stone wall for G2 right now. There is nothing that they can do to breach that final line of defense for Team Liquid, and he is going big. It's something G2 need to deal with if they want to get themselves any more attacking rounds. Right now, it is 3-1 to Liquid. 2 more defenses to go. They're going to be heading back up to the top floor. Bunk and Daycare, they won it last time around. No, they didn't. It was G2's 1 win, sorry. I thought they'd got themselves into initiation, but no. There's an opportunity then for G2. They need to double down on that. They need to get themselves another win here.
One thing for me that I'm looking at my stats already, is G2 are 3-1 on the entry. They've been really good in the early rounds, and I said back in the pregame, even Jesse did, when G2 get the opener, 80% conversion into round win. Well, Liquid are saying, well, let's change that number a bit, shall we, and bring it crashing down. They're doing a wonderful job of it so far, and it's always coming down to the mid-round. Again, largely off the back of PSK, who's done absolute work, and ask for me, the ultimate time waster. So many rounds, whether it's in control or sat inside of barrels, that clock is just being brought down by 45, 60, 75 seconds just by sitting in place and not being prepared to back down.
Bunk and Daycare, it is then Liquid paying plenty of attention to the east side of the map as well. Just may open it up like Swiss cheese at the minute, going to make it difficult for G2 to be able to get themselves established inside. We saw last time that Ask is very, very capable of holding on to that control area. We've seen him do it a couple of times, and he's out there on the mute again, so likely to be giving it another try. He just strafes himself across into Office to get a little bit of a different angle into Cash, and he's maybe going to get aggressive onto this window.
Quite possibly, Prano working his way across here, getting these hatches opened up on the bunkers. He does best. And looking towards this Amara again. I know we saw it fail pretty spectacularly last time round. I think Alamau instead was just playing on the rappel in towards break room, and when he tried to push in, well, there was a man waiting for the left-hand side and got an absolute freebie. It's probably going to be the same story, but it just speaks to the pressure that Liquid are applying, giving almost nothing to G2 for free.
Ask still playing in and around this bathroom, hasn't been moved yet, will be drawn down. That's going to force him to dip back, and that's something that G2, as I've said, have been doing well. They've been forcing Roamers to move, using the drones well, and going in and getting kills on the back of it. It all comes down to the site work. It's all that final minute that we need to be really keeping a close eye on G2. Now then, Dorky going to be working underneath. He's certainly having a good think about this nade for the time being. Going to use it to potentially clear out some utility. Doesn't get the shield, but Citizen does get Ask. Reset's managing to find Alamo, and once again we've just got that situation where kills come in quickly on either side.
Absolutely, it's about stepping forward from this point though and taking ground. It's all good getting the opener, but stepping things forward from there, it's a very different conversation altogether.
Resets, he's going to be half health and just holding on here inside of initiation. Drones come in, letting G2 know exactly where he is, and Citizen's going to be looking for a long angle there through Cash. He's finally got himself established. Quite a long time for G2 to really get established inside of the map on the top floor, and that could feed into that late round problem of playing onto site. PSK still full health on the smoke. He's going to be holding himself in and around the vending machines, just again trying to halt that progress from the east side.
It's all about this control side again. It's looking very similar once again, you know, where we've got a player sat waiting for someone to try and come through the hatch, but G2, rarely having some drones left alive in the late part of the round here, have got a really good view. So now it's about to play, the drop comes in, Doki wins first, Bull gets swung on here from the arcade side, down he'll go, Nest equalising things out, Palu losing out to Citizen. G2 have got the numbers advantage, but only 30 seconds on the clock.
Nesk, he's going to try and just hold on inside a cafe here. He's going to leave it until the very late round to potentially push forward. He wants to hit them on the flank, as does Resets. They're happy to play outside of sight here and force G2 in a position to have to put the diffuser down. And right now, the 3 members of G2 need to try and find themselves some kills. That's important from Prado. Citizen goes big as well. And that's going to be G2 taking round 5.
The thing is, Tim, that's 2 attacking rounds on the board. That, arguably about 6 months ago, was what you'd be looking for on the attack. On Theme Park, that would be considered a really strong first half to even have 2 rounds. Here, they're in with a chance to get 3. I know it's their map pick. They should probably be having a 3 already at this point and be looking to make it a 4th. But Liquid have held on pretty well. Just when we have those 3 members of G2 left alive, droning well, that is when the magic starts to come together.
We're going to get into round number 6 then. It's going to be Team Liquid's final defensive opportunity. And we're going to be going to Initiation and Office. Looks like we're going to have another little bit of a technical hitch. We will get ourselves back in.
To make it 3-3. And that just kind of gets us on track for that wonderful O word, Tim. We'll keep on saving it for a while, but you just don't know. It could well be coming.
I'm very excited if it does, because I want everybody here to shout it with us if we get there. I'm very, very excited for that possibility, but I'm not going to wish it on the teams yet. I'm sure they're both going to want to get it locked down in regulation.
The fan art we got this morning of that artist blessing of me holding up a shutdown sign. I was just like, unbelievable.
Don't you worry, there'll be plenty of that coming as this one goes on. 3-2 as it stands to Team Liquid. We're going to be heading back in now. It's going to be round number 6, and we're going to be heading to Initiation and Office for the final defensive round for the Brazilians.
Indeed we shall. Let's see if G2 can change their fortunes. We had this back in round 3. It did go the way of Liquid, even with G2 breaking the shield hold around Cafe in record time. Then they managed to get by and shoot the mute jammer that was on the cafeteria doorway and just run a Rotero in through that spot. As it stands, they aren't going to run the Roteros this time around. Flores being put on the bench for now at least. Maverick coming along instead. So even more nades in the arsenal of G2. That would be 6 in total, Tim. And hopefully, we've already seen a few nade kills. They can find a couple more.
That's it. If you're going to bring that volume of utility, you've got to get it working for you. Whether that be taking out the utility or whether it be dropping bodies on the other side, you've got to get every drop out of it that you can at this level. Now then, we're going to head into round number 6. Get things underway as we go into the action phase. A good drone phase there for G2. They've only lost 1. They've got 9 drones. In fact, they haven't lost any because they've got Doki on the Twitch. So the Twitch only gets 1 drone, of course, and then gets 2 of the shock drones. So G2 holding on to every single one of them does.
Absolutely, fair play to start things off then for G2. I want to see where the attack comes in, right? Again, we saw the focus around Cafe before it got stuck there. They moved out towards Dragon side instead. Here, it's looking a bit split once again, where you've got a couple of players up on the roof. You've got Virtue looking to push his way up around Cafeteria, and I imagine you'll have Alamal trying to push through around the break window again. That is where his big focus has been time and time again throughout this game. It's an unforgiving position to play as well, because you could be shot from the right, left, dead ahead. You're just kind of vaulting in and hoping your team have got you covered in some way.
Citizen straight up onto the rooftop then with the Thinker. He's going to have Doki up there with him as well. They're going to be looking to push in from that east side, so a little bit more direct to site. It is Initiation and Office that they will be pushing towards. Citizen going pretty well on the entry so far, Des, managing to get himself a couple of kills, no deaths up to this point, and just really helping propel G2 into those rounds. They just need to have that little bit of sort of the last bit of the round, get the entry, push on, get the round.
Well, again, their 3-1 entry record has now become 4-1, so they are strong in the early round, but it's where they're losing in the late round that's costing them. The stonewall of PSK, the lack of drones, the pushing into sight with no time left. It's all good having a strong early game, but you need to be able to convert it into a good late round advantage, and hopefully into a win off the back of that. G2 spent a good 90 seconds here deciding where to go. Earlier on, we saw Citizen and Doki heading out towards Dragon side, now rotated all the way back over to join Virtue, over towards Cafe Nest. Uncharacteristically missing a little bit of drone there as well. Alamal's in, but no, Palu's just ready, as he always is. One comes back the other way, a second coming in for Liquid. It's not looking great for G2 once again.
Not as easy as it used to be for Palu there to pick up on the Amaru coming through. There was the change recently, of course, where the sound of the animation is later in the process as you come in through the window, but Palu still reacting fantastically well. Liquid on top here, 4 versus 3. Citizen trying to get something going, opening up lines of sight, albeit small one. ones, but just using that LMG to its maximum capacity there, not just for kills, but also for a little bit of renovation. Going to take about 50 damage there as he tries to get the nade out, but he's going to use a nano boost to get his health back up. Virtue opening the wall up directly into sight. Nade goes in, little bit of damage onto resets, but not enough.
C4 in hand as well, might find Citizen here for free, but no, he's long stepped away. G2 though, my concerns against him in the last 45 seconds, haven't touched a drone. They've been in this 3 versus 4, they've had the time to do that, but instead they're pushing in blind here. They're lucky to still have 3, but they've got to make it work here with 10 seconds to go. Prano on the drop in, looking in towards Dragon, no one to be seen, 2 kills in for Liquid. It's another classic G2 round, unfortunately, as Liquid end the half 4-2.
G2 just a little bit slow on the attack there. We commented on it at the time, 90 seconds before they really looked confident in where the push was going to come, exactly which side. They'd started on east, they'd moved over to west. It was all a little bit sort of broken from them, and they never really recovered. So will they do better on the defense? That is the question now. We're going to swap sides. We're going to have Team Liquid moving on to the attack. G2, they're going to be taking the bottom floor site of Armory and Throne to kick things off on the defense. The question for me here is, this is where we've seen G2 play in that individual play style. We saw it on Chalet the other day, Prano out on main stairs, you know, Virtue I think was up in library, just all sort of playing on their own, not there for trades, not there to impact on each other. That's something they need to avoid here. If they've got 2 people up on top floor at either ends of the top floor, for example, Liquid are just going to go in numbers and take them down.
And generally, it's easier on the defensive side to play that way. On the attacking side, you know, you've got a lot of ground to cover and take over. You can't always push it from one direction, otherwise you're basically walking into a meat grinder, right? So on defense, things should get better for Liquid. I think they'd be very happy with the fact they've walked away with even 4 defenses on G2's map pick. Again, theme park a map that very few teams actually play. G2 have got the chance on one of their top 3 here, and so far have not got as many rounds as they would have been looking for. We'll see if their fortunes change, but Liquid could just keep this show rolling in the second half.
We've got quite a top floor presence from G2 then. There's at least 2 up there for the time being. Prano Alam, I'm just a little bit concerned as about how widespread these are. And the reason that I say that is if you look at G2's positioning, there's nobody that can impact on anybody else's death. That's the problem. You need to be getting those trades if you're on defense. You can't just lose the round to attrition. So a little bit concerned about that. We'll see how it pans out throughout the round. Doki on the Vigil is going to make him difficult to deal with. He's keeping himself off the drones. Takes one down, which will give away his position, but he should be able to relocate fairly easily.
I don't hate defenders being by themselves as long as they show restraint, right? Look back at Liquid again in the first half, how often they would not swing a doorway when they knew G2 were roughly on the other side. They'd sit and wait and just play it very patiently and let G2 come to you. As long as Doki's trying to go hyper-aggressive here and run back into ground that is already lost, they should be okay. That's what I'm watching out for, really, is again, not dying in silly ways in the early round.
Ask is getting himself inside of the map. He's going to find himself inside of maintenance there. He's on the Iana, so obviously not in a position to hard breach, but he's just trying to clear the path for resets, who will be looking to come along later. They've got Palu on the sledge. There's a beautiful nitro to kick us off from Alamau. He's going to take down Ness. Must have had a little bit of information on that one, maybe from a Valkyrie cam, just telling him exactly where the position of Ness was, and he was right above that trap that had been laid.
It's really interesting on a map this big, to be fair, that Liquid haven't attacker repicked in an IQ once you know there's a Valkyrie on side. It's been the go-to response throughout the tournament. As you see a Valkyrie, you bring the IQ. Ask, seeing one sat inside a bunk daycare, Doki going to have to get the hell out of dodge, over the top of Arcade and back down. This is what I was glad to see, and what I was speaking about is I don't want to see over-aggression, trying to push back in when you've already got an advantage here. You've wasted 2 minutes. You've got a kill. That is a wonderful start for G2.
That's it. They almost, for me, need to take a little bit of a leaf out of Liquid's book, and that is getting themselves the advantage at the half, dropping back to side, and just waiting, letting Liquid do the hard work from there, and it's looking largely like that is the game plan for G2, as Doki now on the Vigil has got himself back into sight as well. 50 seconds left to go for them to hold on, and Liquid are starting to do a little bit of work now, getting hatches open, making sure that they're safe to move into barrels, and just trying to get themselves set up to think about this breach.
I'm nervous for Doki's sake here as well. I know everybody wants to tuck into that corner and kind of make it easy to make a play from, but if they pinch him out or just see him from above, he's dead. Speaking of which, Alamal's got himself a freebie. Virtue there for insurance, not that it was required. 5 versus 3 for G2, who are slowly picking Liquid off from the shadows.
That's the teamwork that I was talking about from G2. We need more of that, where players are just working as a pair like that. Liquid managed to get one back, 3v4, 10 seconds left to go. They're going to have to flood site here. They've no choice. I don't think they know that Virtue's waiting. It's another free freebie as the kills rain in for G2. Prano, Virtue, Doki close out the round, and that's going to be G2 taking their first defense, and it's now 4-3.
I feel so bad for the Iana at the end then. Everyone's done that in ranked, right? You feel like you've checked every corner, you're going in as safe as possible, but the one corner you don't check is where the player is, and you die for free at the very bitter end of things. Unfortunate, but I think really wouldn't have had a big impact given Liquid were also short on time. So good stuff by G2 there, slowly running the clock down. Liquid, I felt, were trying to be really methodical about things, getting the drones in, making sure they knew what was going on, weren't just throwing the drones away for free either, but just couldn't really capitalize because Doki, one slippery little bugger, Tim.
He certainly can be. Certainly can be. Manages to slip through the cracks. That much is for sure on that one as he got himself some important work done. Now then, we're going to be heading into round number 8. It's going to be the top 4 this time for G2, Bunk and Daycare. And what you feel is a really important round in this game. You never know when this pivotal round is going to come. It depends on the scoreline when you reach sort of round 7, 8, 9, but they can be particularly important. If G2 get this here, the belief kicks in. They know that they can do it. They've got the 2 defensive rounds. All they have to do is win those 2 sites again, and they go to overtime. If Liquid get it, they start feeling like this might be doable. They're only 2 rounds from the win, and it can be a big mental shift in round 8. So we'll see who comes away on top. But G2 setting up pretty similar to Liquid. They've got the man over on the east side. They've got somebody trying to hold on to Cafe Door. I'm not sure how much utility they've got there. They do have the Aruni's going to be opening up some verticals as well, and that is going to be potentially to deny a plant in the later round.
Absolutely. Doki once again doing a bit of roaming work out here, hoping someone's going to greet him inside a cache, hand over some money, and then depart, hopefully with him putting a bullet in the head on the way through. Not playing on the Vigil this time around, worth noting the team needed those ADSs. Isn't playing as much of what you might call a selfish roamer in a way, right? Vigil very much playing for himself in most cases, but here, once he's got a drone or 2, should look to dip away. The problem is this entire wall is soft, so you've got to be so careful on the run back out. A nade coming in, not able to find him.
Doki just about avoiding the damage there. Takes a little tickle, but will be free to move on. He's going to be hitting some reinforcements. That's it, a late bit of preparation there as we are now at the 1 minute mark here coming in. 2 minutes left to go, and that is G2 just basically waiting to see what is going to come out of Liquid, and I quite like that. Let's see what's happening with the attack before we get too committed.
It was a very kind of light engagement as well. A drone going down, Doki a little tickle of damage, but you did see 4 members of Liquid were sat on drones as well. They are being really methodical about things, and one of the difficulties of Theme Park is it is such a big map. There are so many different corners you need to check out for and watch for that you can get stung if you're not careful. We saw that in spades in the last round. So yes, being methodical is good, but you've still got to get yourself towards that site in good time.
Going to be getting the office wall open up now, but you just see it there, the electrical goes on. That's going to burn out the Selma. It will be cleared now, and the second Selma is likely to be successful, but one was lost. That's going to be office wall opened up, and Liquid, they're going to be pushing pretty much through that breach and the double door. Lots of work for them to do. 1 minute left to go, and still no kills on the board. G2 pretty happy to just sort of bunker down here and wait for the final push to come. As you can see, the lines are drawn now. They are completely set up on the west side of the map. We've got Alamo looking to hold on to Cafe Door. Important position because they don't want anybody coming around the back. Now then resets. Manages to get an angle over the top of the shield, but Alamo holds on.
Reset takes so much damage from the smoke as well. It was so well placed by Alamau just to catch Reset. Tucked in the corner, who's forced across the door, but it's almost Alamau that gets taken down as a result. There's so much utility still here to him as well. We've got laser gates, ADSs, shields. It's going to come down to winning some gunfights, of which Ask can do, bringing down Doki.
20 seconds left to go. Ask is now trying to aggress on. He's trying to be the catalyst. He's trying to get something going, and what a beautiful headshot through onto Virtue. Alamo doing work still inside the cafe, but gets killed from the rear side. 1v4 as Liquid just storm into sight. It is all down to Citizen. He gets one. Does he get two? No! He's shut down as Team Liquid are able to take round number 8, and that is going to be 5-3.
Just goes to show, even on G2's side where they felt confident, they had shields, laser gates, ADSs, everything still working for them. And Maverick walks up and finds 3 kills and completely shuts your whole attack down, or defense down, sorry. Wonderful stuff, and those are the kind of rounds that will get Liquid over the finish line.
Starting to get a lot of excitement on the side of Team Liquid as well. You can see that they, as I said, that round 8 was an important one. They've hit 5 now, and they start smelling the blood in the water nowadays. They know that this one is close and that they are going to be able to potentially take theme part. They've managed to get themselves a big win there on the secondary side for G2. So now it's about pushing on and just bringing more of the same. The one word of caution I would have for Team Liquid is you can't always rely on that last 20-second collapse like that.
Well, I mean, we saw it from G2. Look back at round 1. Citizen got a 3K and they still didn't manage to close the round out. I always call them hero plays, Tim, when you've got one man who's stepping really into a position that if this were a game of chess, he would not be finding 3 kills like that. If you do, wonderful. That's the FPS aspect of the game shining through. But it just kind of leans into that whole, you know, you can't rely on the FPS side, you can't rely on the strategic side either. Both can crumble at a moment's notice. Round 9 then, 5-3 to G2. See, I didn't say number 9 there, Tim, just said round 9. We'll see what they can get done here. For Liquid, they were held up by G2. Doki doing a good job, got a drone as well, then moved himself back, kept things safe. And so for Liquid, watch the clock. That's my only real statement, is watch the clock.
Doki once again playing out on that east side. They're obviously happy with what he brought. As you say, it was a pretty gentle hold really. Took down a couple of drones, had a few pop shots at barricades, and then dipped away as soon as the challenge comes in. And it's going to be largely the same here now. We'll see if he goes to reinforce that office wall, whether that is still on his list of jobs to do or not. I thought he was going in for it there. It looked like he was bent down, but no. They're going to leave that half open this time around. So interesting from G2. That's going to prevent Team Liquid getting in there confidently. Last time they were able to move in, start opening things up. Citizen, he finds a nice nitro. We know the ability that this man's got on the Valkyrie, and he proves it once again. Opening things up with a kill onto Ask.
I wonder how much he likes the MPX. It's always called the P shooter for a reason, right? We know Citizen likes his big, heavy-hitting guns, especially when they snap onto heads for fun. Here, at least, that opening C4, a wonderful start again, bringing down the man who went massive in the last round. Will remove the possibility of him going huge, but still got other players alive on the team that can do much the same.
Doki on the yellow stairs. It's where he played last time around. He was picked up with about a minute left to go, so Team Liquid may well play for that same first kill. He was the catalyst, really. He was the one that sort of signalled that the round was going to get going. There could be a hatch drop coming in here. They're going to be clearing out utility, trying to get a nade down there. It will clear out the utility they needed to get that office wall open, which had been reinforced rather than leaving it open, so it's allowed them to get in there with the ace and to get those Selma charges working.
G2 have dug right back into site here as well, so Liquid have done the right job, forced the roamers back towards site, corralled them in like wild animals, and now it's trying to find picks that will get them the round win, or at the very least, enable and execute. We've barely seen any plants so far either, team. We've only saw the one in round 2 from Alamau at about the 30-second mark in the 3 versus 1. Liquid, at least in that first round, or the first couple, have just shown, hey, who cares, and we can just frag out.
PSK now working inside of office, trying to find any angles through, but G2 keeping themselves in much better cover this time around. They've not given up those deaths as they did last time, and they just seem that little bit more secure, that little bit more protected. Resets trying to work from inside a cafe. He's got a laser gate to get through yet. Could be a freebie, but Paolo, he can't quite react quick enough. He wants the easy kill, and he finds it. Going to be Alamau taken down, but only 10 seconds left to go. Des Doki finds PSK. Prano, Alamau. It's all going the way of G2 as they manage to get themselves Duncan Daycare. And that is going to bring us back to 5-4 now.
That's what you want to see, keeping things nice and close. Yes, G2 on that defensive side had the advantage here, but let's not forget Liquid, 1 round and they guarantee at least going through to overtime there and keep themselves in the conversation. The only thing to be concerned about, I haven't seen it explicitly, but I know full well this should be the case, is that G2 will start on the defensive side in overtime. They pick the map, Liquid pick the side in regulation, they pick defense. When you go into overtime, the team that picked the map get to choose. And you'd have to be a lunatic to pick to start attack on this map.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've seen that so far. Obviously, the defenders having the run of things, generally speaking. G2 now 2-1 on their site rotation. They're going to go back down, across to initiation and office this time. Interesting, because Armory and Throne, of course, was open to them, having been around from away from it for 2 rounds. So they decided instead, let's mix things up. Maybe, you know, we've already had the win on Armory, but this could be an interesting side choice. We'll see at the end of the round. If they lose this one, then you wonder, should they have just gone back for the rinse and repeat?
Wouldn't have been a bad call overall, but we'll no doubt see. maybe here trying to play around expectations and keep Liquid guessing. Of course, attacker repick, meaning it doesn't have a big impact. Tim, I spoke about G2 maybe bringing along a Monty. Look at Ask. He's the one now bringing the shield bearer to bear. No doubt pushing in through either cafeteria or through cash. That's normally where a Monty will work his way through. And I think back in the old day, Pengu, of course, is now on our casting team, said, you know, it's a great way to get control on this map. If you are struggling to break open a 3-point hold inside a cache, walking with a Monty, you can just march your way through and take control of other areas of the map quite easily.
Going to have lines of sight being opened up by the Aruni and the rest of G2 as they look to be able to prevent that push coming across. They're going to be facing up to what looks like a control push, as you say, get the Monty in there, move through cash and just try to take the ground inch by inch. Now then, we've got Doki playing a really high line. He's got some utility, he's got a reinforcement, so that tells us Doki's going to be playing his life out here. He cannot get that drone either. He does find a second, but the first will elude him. Now, Doki, he's going to hold on to this for as long as possible, and it's going to be an important part of this round. If Liquid can get in there and clear him out, and that's largely going to be the Monty's job, just to get aggressive and to force him back. As you can see, Doki, he has to leave it, Des. He cannot stay up there for too long, and Liquid have done a great job of just burning through that position.
And this again ultimately is where the Monty starts to shine, is that you can just face check essentially into the room. Spot where Doki is, he knows that he's been seen and probably is going to get challenged by a nade or from somewhere else and has to back away. So with very little effort, Liquid have forced those roamers back.
That's it, the Monty working into control
Oh,
now,
boy.
allowing the Selmas to go out. They're going to open that wall through into initiation, and there could be an opportunity to get in and get this diffuser down soon. Not something that we've seen too much of so far. It's been limited in terms of having an opportunity to get to the objective, as we've said, can be difficult for the attackers on Theme Park. A minute 15 left to go, and Alamau, the sole player of G2 inside of initiation. He does have some support from Virtue.
Oh!
What a kill from Alamau! Takes down the Monty of Asp, but there are 2 kills that come back in from Liquid to nullify that 4v3.
This is the problem, right? I thought the Monty was going to get in and get away with the plant there. Alamau's done a service for his team, but G2 didn't have enough players watching the site. Resets, sticking the plant down here. A C4 coming out of seemingly nowhere. Palu goes huge. 2 kills, and Doki, the last man left standing here in a 1 versus 4. Palu next to 3K. And Liquid take the round and move up to match point.
Coming into this, obviously, we were talking about Liquids as a potential favourite for the tournament, and they are looking every inch the potential favourites at the minute, because they are just walking over G2 on Theme Park right now. G2 have had their moments, but Liquid just always seem to have the answers, and the problem for G2 is every time they move to a different attacking site, it seems that it's all about building something into the future. You know, yeah, if they can come away with a good performance here, get a semi-final, get a final, or win, whatever it might be, that'd be a massive bonus for them. But right now, it's about solidifying as a roster and having that time, that experience to work together. And I'm sure G2 have taken a lot away from the tournament. There's a long way to go yet. They may well be going further, but it's just something for us to keep in mind about G2.
We've seen it historically for a number of players as well. You know, there's a lot of pressure and stress that comes with being on G2. They are one of, if not the largest esports brand in the world. And for many, the expectations that you will deliver on this team, they're there from day one.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if, I need a stage and a major, maybe another stage to get warmed into things. No, you've got to deliver from day one. But you are right, where many of the teams have been given that pass of, it's their first event, give them a little bit of time. You've got to remember the same for G2. I'm not at all trying to make excuses for them yet. They should be playing better than they are right now on their own map pick. They looked completely blindsided by that control push.
Coming into it, as I said, the first map was always going to be important for G2. When you're moving on to Clubhouse against Liquid, you know that it's not going to be an easy time, and it could be a short day for G2 if that's the case. Now then, Citizen, he's going to be playing down inside of maintenance. He's on the Valkyrie again. We've seen him get the Nitro kills. He's going to pre-place that. I don't think he's planning to pull the trigger just yet. He's waiting for the push to come through from Team Liquid, and he's going to rotate himself under the map. But Team Liquid, they're just getting themselves into position, just posturing and getting rid of some utility. Palu on the Capitao is always a dangerous site.
But look at the big difference compared to what I said back in the first half to now, where I said for G2, they've got this kind of star formation all around the map. For Liquid, they've got 4 players all coming in from the same direction. It is team-based control and play. They've just pinged out the C4 on the below, so they know as sure as hell, don't go on the Dragon Balcony. They'll be avoiding that one for as long as they can, and may have even got it shot out through the floor already, Tim.
Very possibly. Ness,
still
he's
there.
going to... The thing is, Ness is moving in underneath. You know, if it's still there, it ain't going to be for long. Like you say, I think I'm pretty confident that they've got that cleared out. Yes, you can see that that is no longer in position. So, Ness established underneath. It's going to allow them to move into maintenance and control now. And then that is going to be the basis for the Liquid push going forward. They're going to try and get themselves in through Dragon, in through maintenance, and push onto site. I'm just a little bit concerned because I've seen Liquid try this push, and I'm talking a long time ago, 12 months ago, but they would always falter when it came to getting in through that breach. They would eventually leave it to the last 10 seconds, try to push in through the maintenance breach, and that's where the difficulties would come. You just feel like they need that other angle, they need that pressure from elsewhere, whether it's from Split, whether it's from a Maverick hole in yellow wall, they just need something to make G2 as defenders think about another angle.
They may well have the verticals to play with here to at least put some pressure on at the other side, or could be looking, like you say, for that split push at the same time. A couple of these cams still alive for Citizen. I believe it's the same for the Evil Eyes that we saw both on the south and up towards the north. Now being burned away by those impacts, they rain through. So one Evil Eye down, one still standing to give some information. And Liquid, with Ask on the diffuser here outside maintenance, you can see exactly what they're trying to put together.
Nade in hand is going to be thrown out, taken down by an ADS. There goes a second, but there's going to be no joy as there's nobody in behind there. Prano, he lets one go.
Prano!
He's going to try to take down the planter, but no. Ness is there for an essential cover kill, and he goes for a second and he gets it. Big play from Ness to allow Reset to get that diffuser down, and that is G2 now on the back foot. It is 4 versus 3, 35 seconds to go.
They're going to be kicking themselves, Prano especially. That could have been the round ender. You've got an Alder, but Liquid, they don't allow second chances. Virtue's left, 1 versus 4, and it's all that stands between Liquid and this first map win. Round 1, or bet 1, goes to Liquid.
Well, what a start for the Brazilians. They come in and they take G2's map away from them and give themselves a real foundation to push on towards those semi-finals. It is not done yet. This is best of 3, and Team Liquid, they're not going to have it easy.